Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and hearing the silence being shattered by a deafening noise. Your heart races. Something is wrong. Fear paralyzes your body as you try to understand what is happening inside your own home. Now imagine that this is not a nightmare but a tragic reality. This was the night that changed Collier Landry's life forever. At just 11 years old, he didn't know it yet, but at that moment, he's turned into a real-life horror movie. And even worse, the villain of the story was someone who had the duty to protect him. In today's video, you will learn all the details of this dark story, a real case involving mystery, betrayal, and unbelievable courage. But before we begin, I want to ask for your support to help this channel continue growing. If you enjoy the content we bring here, subscribe now so you won't miss any of our videos. The story you are about to hear today took place in the city of Mansfield, Ohio. It was a quiet town, the kind of place where nothing bad ever happened. That's where John and Noreen Boyle lived, a couple who, to outsiders, seemed to lead a normal life. John was a respected and prestigious doctor. His wife, Noreen, was extremely dedicated to her family. Together they had 2 children, Collier, their biological son. But as in many crime stories, appearances hid a dark truth. The marriage between John and Noreen was falling apart. She suspected that he was cheating on her, and it didn't take long for her suspicions to become a certainty. John was indeed having an affair, and to make things even worse, his mistress was pregnant. When Noreen discovered the truth, she decided she would not accept living a lie. But for John, this was a death sentence. Just not for him. On the night of December 30th, 1989, the Boyle family home was silent. Collier was asleep in his room when suddenly a loud noise woke him up. It was a sharp, dry sound. Collier knew something had happened in his parents' bedroom. His heart pounded in his chest. He remained still, trying to listen for anything else. But silence took over the house again, making the situation even more terrifying. The next morning, his mother was gone. Chilling coldness told his son that Noreen had left on a sudden trip. But Collier knew his mother. He knew that she would never have left without saying goodbye. Days passed and Noreen did not return. No phone calls, no news, nothing. Just an overwhelming emptiness and a father who pretended everything was normal. John Boyle tried to act as if nothing had happened, but his behavior did not fool Collier. He started asking questions. Where was his mother? But John always dodged the questions, giving vague answers. Over time, he even started avoiding looking his own son in the eyes. Collier could feel fear growing inside him. But he also knew one thing for sure: his father was lying. And when no one else seemed willing to listen, he decided to take action. Collier sought out a detective. With a trembling voice but an unbelievable determination for someone his age, he told him what he had. The police then began their investigation. With every new clue, the picture became darker, until investigators arrived at a house that John Boyle had recently purchased. In the basement, buried under concrete, they found the body of Noreen Boyle. She had been murdered, suffocated to death, and then hidden there as if her life meant nothing. John Boyle was arrested, but the story was far from over. The courtroom was packed on the day of the trial. Everyone would hear what the man who had betrayed his own family had to say. But what no one expected was what happened next. At just 11 years old, Collier Landry walked into the courtroom. As soon as he entered, the room fell into complete silence. All eyes were on him. And then he began to speak. With courage, he recounted what he had heard that night. He described the loud noise, his father's strange behavior, and how he had known from the very beginning that something was wrong. His testimony was devastating. The courtroom was in shock. There was no doubt left. John Boyle was sentenced to life in prison, and Collier could finally breathe again. This story could have destroyed Collier Landry. But he did not allow that to happen. He grew up. He became a filmmaker. He turned his pain into art and his story into a warning. He uses his voice to help other victims of family crimes, to show that the truth, no matter how painful, must always be spoken. And his story teaches us a valuable lesson. Never ignore your instincts. If this story impacted you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and tell me in the comments. Have you ever had a gut feeling that turned out to be true? I hope to see you in the next videos.